lot of you guys know Injective. A lot of you guys don't. But Injective, as of a few months ago, was the highest growth crypto project. They surged 450% out of nowhere. I don't think they're the top anymore because they slowed down a little bit, but still, Injective came out of nowhere and reached above $1 billion in market cap. But that doesn't mean it doesn't have any explosive growth left. Injective is one of those new L1s that's gaining a lot of popularity, built out of the Cosmos ecosystem, using the Cosmos SDK. So yes, they are out of Cosmos, but they are a full-fledged L1, layer 1 protocol, a base layer for dApps to thrive on, right? So if you're a chartist, you're looking at that, you're like, that's looking pretty good. It just broke out of this channel. That's a really bullish sign. They're up 7% today. Okay, 7%. And look at it over the last 90 days, 143% growth. That's pretty explosive, right? But they were even more explosive. But why did they break out today? Well, because you have a major exchange, OKX, that decided to list them. So that's a major reason. OKX is, according to volume, the second biggest exchange on the planet. They don't have a presence in the US because it's not open to US, citizens, but outside of Binance, the second biggest is OKX. So they are absolutely huge. So they definitely got injected today. Their price got injected today by OKX. But there's so much more that's going on Injective, which is why they have been exploding this year and why they'll continue. First of all, their on-chain transactions is going upwards, 350 million. That's quite a lot and keeps on growing. If you look at the number of staked tokens is increasing, more than 1 million in a matter of days. So yes, a lot of people that hold on Injective, they don't want to let go. They're just staking it for rewards. It makes sense. The more people that stake, the more that gets removed out of circulation. This holds true for all crypto out there. The more that gets staked, the less there is circulating and being traded. So there's that. They also have a burn program. So yes, they burn about 6 million, which isn't all that much if you think about it, but still, they have something. As more usage comes in, more gets burned. That's pretty good. They've also made a lot of partnerships. A lot of you guys have been asking about Pyth, and which is a brand new Oracle. And you know what? They have a partnership with Pyth. They're going to try to use them as a data retrieval mechanism so that Injective can talk to other chains and get real-time data from a lot of real-world companies, right, utilizing Pyth. So that's an example. They also have this Ninja, which is their first native wallet, which is good. Surprisingly, there are a lot of chains that don't have a native wallet support. So they do have that. Also, we hear a lot about tokenization, okay, of real world assets. And this includes not just like real estate, physical things. This could also include like government bonds or securities. Like, who would want to buy tokenized securities? But they do. Okay, I mean securities as in U.S. securities, not like security tokens. A lot of people love to buy security tokens, but you also do have a project that's on top of Injective that is doing that, selling tokenized U.S. treasuries. So if you're in the U.S., that's probably not a big deal. But if you're outside the U.S. and you're not able to buy treasuries, well, this is another avenue, right? So they're into that as well. I mean, they're just into everything. They have stable coins on top of it. Their founders, both of them, are in Forbes 30 under 30 list. That's very impressive that both of the founders are under the age of 30. Interesting. That makes me feel old. And lastly, if you look at the NFT marketplace on Injective, right, not the biggest, of course, trailing far behind, say, Ethereum and Polygon and even Solana, right? But, it's growing. So Injective is a full-fledged L1, a lot of potential still, a lot of explosive growth still, even though they had so much You know, they could certainly move up on the CMC chart because they're only at 42. So even at 1.5 billion, that's a long climb upwards towards the top 10. Avalanche, you guys know, I've been talking about a lot of Avalanche a long time. They are definitely one of the bigger caps out there at 8 billion in market cap. You can see today they're up 3%, but the last month they've been trending upwards. Last year, yes, also trending upwards, but they are still far off from their previous high of nearly $140. That's a lot. That's a 7x. So just Avalanche alone can net you a 7x just to get back to previous high. In 2024, 2025, when everything blows up, I am confident that Avalanche will get up to its previous high and break even above that. So you're talking about 7x plus. But that's just the underlying layer. That's the base layer. And Avalanche these days, they're not even an L1 anymore. They have moved to L0 status because they introduced subchains, which basically is a chain within Avalanche. It utilizes the governance and the token structure and everything, the framework, the development code, I mean, everything, right? Like could be shared and it's one big ecosystem. And so it's kind of like a competitor to Cosmos now. So they're no longer L1. They're really like a L2. And of course, they now cater to not only retail investors, but also institutional investors. So real quick, just want to talk about, they did launch something called Evergreen, which is exactly that. It's a subchain for institutional investors. So that's pretty big because you already have the likes of JP Morgan that's already utilizing an Avalanche subnet to test portfolio management. So you already have some big players coming in aboard, creating a subchain, a subnet on top of Avalanche. So you already got the big boys. But Avalanche was created not for the big boys, but for retail investors. Immutable X. They have this really tight relationship, and I'm going to wrap it up, and you guys will see why. But Polygon and Immutable decided to join up to onboard more gamers and developers in Web3. So why this, right? Because they complement each other. Polygon is an awesome proof of stake chain, right? Immutable, they want a chain. They want to be a full-fledged L1. So guess what? They're coming out with their own chain, Immutable ZK EVM. And guess what? This is powered by Polygon. This is something Immutable is working on, and Polygon is helping them with it. But in the meantime, because they're both kind of powerhouses, they're helping each other, drawing a lot of games and NFT makers, and it's just a really good collaboration between the two. So it's a great thing. And Immutable has a lot of awesome games. If you go through their list, they already have a ton, but they want to onboard even more.